I'm boycotting GYGB.
I want to know how big.
Because at the end of fights, when I tell them their fighter wins, they still tend to rub it in my face.
Puerto Rico!
Oh, man.
Oh!
It's amazing.
Back to Girl Boxing. Miguel Cotto, Joshua Clottey, WBC Welterweight Championship of the World. No, WBC. One got the WBO.
Let's say WBO.
I'm going to say WBO. Is WBO? Oh. WBO, WBC, whatever. BCBOs. Anyway, Clottey got the championship belt. I mean, Clotto had the championship belt. Put on the line tonight versus Joshua Clottey. If you haven't seen the fight by now, you know who won. Miguel Cotto won the fight. A little bit of a controversial decision. Maybe not. Typical GYGB fashion. We're going to get it popping with many opinions. Who wants to spark it off first?
Why is Entourage coming on at 10:30?
See, this is why it's 20 minutes, man. This is why we're doing these 20 minutes. And then he made me complain about editing.
Why?
What did you
New
see?
Jay-Z song is not that good. The movement is good, but the song is not that good.
The Devil audio tune is a very good song.
Auto tune. Ride or Die Sleep.
Give me one good line in that song.
Tell him, Ride or Die. What's the good line?
I forgot it's on the top of my
See, that's you making it look like. See, don't do that, Rod. You gotta be ready, man.
It's not a good song.
When you
Well, I saw Cotto come out and he dominated the first round. Wait, no, the first round he wasn't really dominated, but he hit him with that. What was it? Left hook at the end.
Yeah.
At the round.
No, it was like a straight left hand.
You know what? That was one of the funniest knockdowns I ever saw because he looked like, you know how sometimes when a woman or when a little girl's in love with her father and her father smacks her, she get that like that stun look like.
That's a cheap shot at Clottey. Big Mike's not a fan.
What just happened?
He's not a fan of Clottey.
Shout out to Jake the Barber.
Yeah.
So
he thinks I'm a Puerto Rican hater. I'm just I
was there in Puerto Rico.
That's not true.
Shout out to my dudes that even Venango that tinted my cars up early.
Yeah.
Victor, Malik, Aziz, y'all little dudes. I told you I give y'all love. Go ahead.
That's cool. All shout out, but you know what? Joshua.
Tito Trinidad is one of my favorite fighters of all time.
How do we get a money made? GYGB all over the place. We just a money made impersonation just broke out.
Nah, but
I know you're a fan, Big Mike.
I had to get that out. But anyway, it was a close fight. But what I saw in Joshua Clottey is something I really don't like to see in boxers. There was no heart. He took off the last 2 rounds. I mean,
shout out to Winky Wright.
He got body slammed, and you would have thought that a truck ran over him. You know what I mean? And he was complaining a lot. And you know, he really.
So you say he wasn't up for the tag?
I say he
the lights were a little bright. Shout out to the Orlando Magic.
He fought Cotto with a skirt on.
He got the white. He became the White Howard.
He fought him with a skirt on.
He choked on the free throws, is what you saying?
I don't think he choked. I just think he wore a skirt. That's all.
Ride or Die.
I thought this fight went exactly how we thought it was going to go. Number one, a couple of different elements. The Puerto Rican Day Parade, Cotto fighting his home away from home, Clottey's inactivity. You know, those were the things that really affected the whole fight. I mean, yeah, we were shocked that knockdown happened in the first round. I mean, what was it, 116?
He got quarter mile in his work.
No, he did. What was it, 116, 111?
Yeah, 116, 111.
That's a travesty. But, you know, again.
I knew those cards was coming, but go ahead.
But I'm going to say something.
115, 113?
Yeah. But again, and the other person had 114, 113 for Clottey. But at the end of the day, you know, there's no one to blame for this. You can't blame Cotto. You got to blame Clottey. You know?
That's right.
I mean, if you really want something, you got to go after and get it.
You got to lose yourself.
Yeah. And Cotto, shout out to Cotto, he really fought
a
tough fight. He showed he had a lot of heart. And, you know, it was good. I don't know.
Hung in there.
Let me ask you a question. Do you really think he rebounded from the Margarito fight from what you saw?
Me personally, I still saw some deers in the in the headlights from him at times. Like I saw him in that survival mode at times, like the Margarito fight. We won't really know until he fight a more active fighter, like a Shane Mosley again.
He had a lot of ebbs and flows, you know, like Clottey would dictate the pace, then Cotto dictate the pace. At one point in time, we thought, you know, we had Sleep and even Train saying, you know what, they need to stop this fight. Even Emmanuel Stewart was saying, you know what, they need to consider stopping this fight. And, you know, there was no reason to stop the fight. You know why? Because Clottey didn't do anything or land any punches after that point to really put Cotto in trouble. And Cotto, to his point, was on his bike like he was delivering papers. You know, he was just moving around.
Somebody said that too.
Yeah, somebody said that. Okay, good. All right. You know, he was just moving around. He was just moving around. Shout out to Money Mag. He was moving around. and Money made the show, by the way.
Yeah.
He was moving around Cotto, and he didn't let Clottey seal the deal. And Clottey didn't even want to seal the deal. Clottey looked like he was just taking an under the table.
Who did you remind you of? What did we say when coming down the basement? Who did the same exact thing in the championship fight?
Winky did the same thing as Jermaine Till. You know, he had the fight in the bag, and he said, well, I thought I won the fight so much, so I didn't have to step on the gas.
That's why. But see, that was my point I was trying to make earlier. That's why those fighters never really like the Winky Wrights of the world.
I agree
and
with
even
you.
your boy Abraham, like that, he fights like that. I can't stand.
But he's actually more offensive.
Abraham is very offensive.
He's way more offensive. Winky, they what is it?
I said even if he counters.
Right.
Abraham can actually punch. That's
and he's more active. He's just a more active fighter.
This is one of those fights where I think everybody's point, was expressed in the fight. The fight started off, and I thought, Cotto was fighting the wrong fight. He was fighting him in the middle of the ring. He was trading shots. It was a pace that I didn't think Cotto would be able to sustain. And, he got hurt, and he still looked like he was fading. And it started to look like they said the Margarito-Cotto fight. But the difference was Cotto doesn't hit as hard. Clottey doesn't hit as hard. Then Clottey started taking little times off. There's a lot of mid rounds where the whole crowd, of course. There's a lot of mid rounds where Clottey totally dominated. I actually had the fight 7-5, and I know that's an awkward score, but it was based on Cotto's knockdown in the first round.
No, this kind of going.
You don't get cabbies.
It's not manly.
But Clottey took off the chip rounds. He tends to do that. He took off the chip rounds, being comfortable. As Big Mike said, knife and tip.
How can you be comfortable?
Look, I don't have an explanation for it. It's very weird because I say Clottey had won it points-wise, but he didn't win the fight. He didn't take the title from Cotto, a vacant type title. He didn't take it from Cotto, and he didn't show up in the chip round.
You know what? Real fast.
Expect Kobe to show up in that chip round.
And that's what I'm going to say. You know what? Clottey and Orlando Magic need to sit down and blog how not to win a championship.
Right.
By Joshua Clottey and the Orlando Magic.
Yeah.
Seriously. Because they did the same thing. Just one happened in basketball, the other happened in boxing. And you know what? Cotto was right there for the picking because he fought the wrong fight tonight.
Do you think that has a lot to do with experience and being in that type of fight?
No, I don't. I think you are, and this is
in most situations. In this situation, I think this is a personality flaw of Clottey. In most situations, Orlando Magic, it does have to do with experience. I don't want to hear what Van Gundy says. Yeah. It does have to do with experience when you make decisions.
But Clottey ain't just Joe Blow from off the street.
JJ Redick.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't fight nobody at the level of Cotto, but he's been on HBO before. He's fought top tier fighters, so it's not like he's just some scab that showed up tonight in a
But we knew that was part of his personality flaw too,
and that's why I picked Cotto to win the fight. Although I think
you kind of pronounce Cotto like a person with Hispanic.
I told you I was shout out to I was down in Puerto Rico. Cotto. I was down in Puerto Rico earlier. Not Puerto Rico.
I have a question for my three brothers here. If this fight was in Vegas, would the card be different?
No, it wouldn't. It doesn't matter. Let me get back to my point. Miguel Cotto is a star in boxing. Joshua Clottey is not. As a boxer, as a fan, you have to understand the politics of the sport as Sleep mocked me, as I see him at the blind side since I'm fighting the southpaw stance, you know what I mean? But anyway, what I'm saying is, Cotto got on his bike, ran a little bit, tried to buy time. That was the fight I expected him to fight throughout the duration of the fight. Now, when he fought in the middle, Clottey was able to find some seven straight right hand straight down the fight. And you saw Cotto.
The jab was landing.
The jab was right on the, as you pointed out, in the
top of the head. As you said it wouldn't happen.
Well, I was wrong about that. Okay. But what I wasn't wrong.
Just wanted to make
that's
some clarification.
That's fine. I'm not, dusting my shoes and all. But anyway, what I wasn't wrong about was him being reactive and not proactive. That never wins championship fights. You sit there, you go to the 11th and the 12th round, you take the fight off as if you won the fight. Do you really think you was getting a decision?
Right.
I don't care if it wasn't a Puerto Rican Day Parade. It was no way they was going to give you a decision over a top-tier fighter like Miguel Cotto because you're nobody in the sport of boxing. Amongst us, we feel you, but
he deserved to lose for taking.
He deserved to lose the fight.
But you know what's funny?
No, I give Cotto Cotto, got it out. He could have quit. Because it was a couple times. Yeah. I thought Clottey had a more career streak. But, being the gangster he is, he hung in there. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that Cotto is not the same fighter. I personally believe that.
Now check this out. One other thing we didn't touch upon.
Him and Margarita both aren't the same fighters. Mine is the plastic.
When Clottey fought, rest in peace, Diego Corrales, he had him hurt. I mean, Big Mike was saying.
And I said that in the show.
Right. And you know what? He couldn't even finish him then. And in the Margarita fight, even though his hand was hurt, and even look at the other fights, he faded.
And I'm down with Big Mike. Enough with the complaining, Clottey. You know, when you fought Zab, you had that. What was hurt? His abs. Yeah, you complain. This is the hurt business.
Where's Clottey go from here?
Nowhere. He's never getting a fight again.
Yeah.
It's a done deal. And it's his own fault. It's his own fault.
Why is he not getting a fight? Because he's too difficult to fight.
He's too difficult. And he's not
so much that.
It is.
Well, that's part of it, but it's like eating crabs. It's a lot of work for no meat.
Damn, that was a good analogy.